Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Hi. My name is Lenny Young. I am the choir director here at Third Presbyterian Church and the artistic director of this concert series, Music at Third. I want to welcome you on behalf of the staff here at Third Presbyterian, where we start our summer service starting this Sunday. We do a 10 a.m. service here in the chapel. I needed to make that plug. How many of you are here for the first time? Fantastic. Welcome. Enjoy. This is a magnificent space that I think, because I work here every week, sometimes I take it a bit for granted. So it's always good to have new people into this beautiful sanctuary space. Music at Third is the concert series here at Third Presbyterian Church. It serves a couple of purposes. One, to bring different kinds of music here to the East End, some professional chamber music and professional soloists. We also have a commitment to student groups and student ensembles here. But mainly it is to provide a good concert experience and to lower the cost of attending, which is why almost all of our concerts here are admission by donation. I appreciate those of you who have donated. This concert is without intermission, so we're going to go straight on through. Because it's a little hot in here, that's probably for the best. But if you have liked what you have heard through this concert, we just ask that you put a value on that to help produce more concerts here throughout the year. This is our last concert here in the spring. In your program, we have a couple of concerts that are coming up in the fall. Starting at the end of September, we are actually going to be a venue for the Pittsburgh Silent Film Festival, because our organist here, Eric Cook, actually has a group called the Pittsburgh Film Orchestra. So they will be doing a beautiful restored print of the Mary Pickford classic Sparrows with live musical accompaniment and the film being projected. Yeah. Then flutist Mariel Brown comes in October for a one-composer symposium exploring the music of Gary Schocker. And then we are hosting our 4th annual Carnegie Mellon Chamber Music Showcase featuring excellent student ensembles performing some of the work that they have been working on for this semester. So a little bit of all of the things that we focus here. This is also kind of a treat because we have been moving farther and farther afield. A year and a half ago, we brought in medieval troubadour Brian Kay from the hinterlands of Ohio. Then this February, we brought Rodolfo Zanetti, an amazing bandoneon player from New York City, and we are reaching further and further out from the confines of Pittsburgh here with this concert with the amazing Italian mandolin virtuoso Carlo Aonzo. I was hipped to Carlo by actually the voice student of my wife's, Carol Palmer, a woman who is just like, seems to be everywhere and everywhere with boundless energy. And she's like, oh, guys, there's this Italian mandolin player. He's going to be on tour. He'd be perfect. And I was like, okay. I usually trust Carol's judgment. So Carol was the linchpin to set this all up. We are very grateful for her putting Carlo's name in our ears. Evidently, there's a lot of mandolin people here tonight. Yeah, I could tell. You guys like to party, right? There's a look of party in your eyes there, right? You like to party, but with 8 strings. Double strung. Yes. In researching Carlo and in getting ready for this concert, what I found remarkable was what I would call an easy virtuosity in Carlo's playing, right? Not the kind of virtuosity where you look at somebody's hands and go, wow, but like an effortless kind of virtuosity that you know that he can just play anything that is in front of him, and he never forgets that everything that he is doing is in the service of a beautiful melody of singing, right? The connection of the mandolin to folk music is apparent, but the mandolin has been part of classical music for some time, and I don't need to tell most of you that. But I love how this repertoire just kind of lives in this beautiful liminal space between the folk and the bel canto of Italian song and just the kind of technical virtuosity and fine composition that you would find on any classical recital. It's been a joy to prepare this concert. I'm sure you're going to be blown away. And without any further ado, Carlo Aonzo.
It's muted, so, okay. Okay. Thank you, Lenny. Thank you. So now it works, yes. Thank you, Lenny. So, why start a program with a lullaby, you know? Usually we play at the very end, the lullabies. But this is because it's the starting of my story. So I want to bring you with me and tell you this story of this young kid that was listening mandolin playing all day long in his house. And this is the piece that my father invented. I should say invented instead of compose, because he invented on the spot, so next to the bed of my sister and me to make us sleeping. And it's a sort of a little exercise, but is a good way to start this journey. So this little kid became a young, and he grew up with the dream also of the America, you know. And so we have the next piece is the piece that he wrote when he was a little older, and started to think, well, I would love my mandolin that might bring me to the United States, and let's see what happened to this dreamer. much. And so after, before this trip was starting, my father gave to me a classical approach to the mandolin. So I also went to the Conservatory of Music to study mandolin. So I get a degree on mandolin, and classical mandolin. And so I got to know about the original repertoire written for the mandolin in the history. So I got to know about Vivaldi and many other, like Beethoven, Stravinsky, and Schoenberg. And so we started from the early music. For example, this is Filippo Sauli, and this is his partita, that is a suite of dances. And this is intended for the mandolin. The mandolin back in those times, we are beginning of the 1700s, it was tuned with gut strings, and it was tuned by fourth instead of fifth, like my mandolin is tuned today. The modern mandolin is tuned like the violin. Okay, so enjoy this little suite of dances, of mandolin dances. So, but also my father was interested, in the overseas music. So he was playing this strange music by Giuseppe Pettine. Giuseppe Pettine is an Italian composer, an Italian man, but he immigrated when he was a kid to Rhode Island, to Providence, where he based his mandolin teaching, and he grew up a mandolin community that is still very active today. So in Providence we have a mandolin orchestra and different mandolin activities tied to the classical mandolin. So he did a good job. And also he was promoting this technique that he called a duo primer, so the unaccompanied mandolin technique. And that is something that later also the Italians were applying, were using, like Calace. We will hear it in the Calace I will play at the end of the program. And so I'm sure he was inspired by these bluebells of Scotland for his lullaby. And instead, in the classical mandolin field, going forward to the golden age of the mandolin, that is the age considered from the 1900s to the 19th century to the 20th century. That is the golden age when the mandolin was spread all around the world, also because of the Italian immigration. So we brought our instruments, our culture, and the mandolin became very soon very popular. And so I'm gonna play for you this piece that is originally written for violin, but was used by Carlo Munier, that is one of the father of mandolin music, modern mandolin music, was included in his collection of Grandi Studi da Concerto, great concert studies. And this is Pietro Rovelli is a contemporary of Paganini, but hidden a little bit by the famous character of Paganini back in those times. So again, we come here to your country. We have a composer, Valentine Abt, that was born here in Pittsburgh in Allegheny. Yeah, and He had a great career with the mandolin. He went to New York, where he taught mandolin. He also made a school of mandolin there, and we are at the very beginning of the 1900s. And he wrote also this barcarolle, that is, the barcarolle was born to play on the boats in Venice. So it has this kind of groove. And he dedicated this to the goldenrod and wrote underneath the national flower. And why the national flower? Is because the goldenrod competed to be your national flower, but they never elected it as a national flower. Only very much later, one of your presidents, Ronald Reagan, elected the rose as a national flower. This is what I read about the national flower. So the goldenrod was one of the flower that was elected to compete for the national flower because of its characteristics, peculiarities. That was it was representing the American in the good way they were thinking. Anyway, let's hear this barcarola and enjoy. Thank you. And so now we go in the same period, mandolin music, but back in Italy. And this piece was dedicated to a mandolin school in Italy, a mandolin school in Milano. And this is a studio scherzo, so scherzo is a form, a musical form for music that if we would translate it would be a joke. But it's a musical joke, sometimes is not a joke for the player. So, Giuseppe Milanesi is one of my favorite mandolin composer, and I hope you enjoy this studio scherzo. Thank you. And so we arrived to the music of Raffaele Calace with, I brought for you two different pieces, two different character. The first one, Spiccola Gavotta, is a piece that is intended more for solo music, or maybe for his students, good students. And so he's with a light character. Meanwhile, the prelude, his prelude is intended for concert hall. Okay, so Calace is very important for the mandolin history because he invented new techniques, new way of expression for the classical mandolin. He's from Naples and died in 1934, and he had the chance to travel to Japan, where nowadays in Japan we have probably the most prolific country for classical for Italian mandolin. They were counting like 1 million mandolin players in Japan. And this is also because the presence in the history of Raffaele Calace, also the emperor, the family of the emperor, they were amateur on the mandolin, so this is also important. As well as in Italy, we had our first queen, the Queen Margherita, that was a mandolin amateur, so she also contributed a lot to the spreading of the mandolin culture around our country and then all over the world. So, Piccola Gavotta by Raffaele Calace and Prelude number 2. And yeah, after that, if you like, we might have a little surprise for you. Thank you very much. So, those last two pieces are part of my last album. I dedicated to Raffaele Calace's music, and that is produced by David Grisman in California. So it's an American production, and I'm touring exactly for the release on this album. The title of the album is The Timeless Voice of the Mandolin. Aonzo plays Calace. Now, it happens that I'm traveling around the country with 3 students from Italy. They are traveling here following my first part of the tour because they got a sponsor by a philanthropist that we thank very, very much. And they have the opportunity to travel the United States, to travel your country, visit your country, and get in touch with the mandolin communities. We were in Nashville, where I ran my mandolin workshop, annual mandolin workshop, and we went to Louisville, where there is a mandolin orchestra, historical mandolin orchestra. We played with them, and now we are here in Pittsburgh. We are very happy, and so please help me to welcome Francesco, Andrea, and Rosa on stage. So we are going to play for you another classic of the Golden Age era, this time written by a Florentine composer, that is Enrico Marucelli. And this is, that was like a super hit back in those times. It's called Valzer Fantastico, and we play in the version of the quartet, so with 2 mandolins, mandola, that is a little bigger of the mandolin, and classical guitar. And so enjoy Valzer Fantastico, and feel free to dance a waltz if you like, but it might be a little dangerous.